What's going on, man? It's your boy KaiGSMG back with another video, man, and today we'll once again be discussing Marvel's Avengers. Last time we talked about the future heroes that could possibly come into the game, but in today's video, it's all about the villains that we could possibly see in the future. For any newcomers here, this is a gaming channel where I mostly upload let's plays and funny moments, but every now and then I'll post videos like this where we discuss certain games. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoy my content. Now let's move on into the list. Similar to my last prediction video list, I want to start off with the confirmed villains that we already have in the game. Now that's MODOK, Taskmaster, and Abomination. Now I guess we can really say that it's just two, Taskmaster and Abomination, since MODOK is a part of a campaign and we can't play the campaign as of yet, but according to the latest dev stream, that's something that should be, you know, very soon, sooner than we think, hopefully. Now as far as villains that have been leaked, I did some research and I think there's only one, and that was the leak from Miller on Twitter. Most of you guys probably already know him, but he stated for the Black Panther operation, we should be getting Claw as the villain. So I think that's gonna tie in perfectly with the Black Panther operation. Obviously that is a Black Panther villain. Other villains we could see could be like, you know, Killmonger or M'Baku, but those are other characters that I would personally like to see in the game. Now let's get on to my prediction / wish list. Now for some of my characters, I mentioned this in my last video that I kind of want to see villains, some villains that are playable. Like they start off bad and you can play as them. So the first couple of characters in my list are going to be like that. Number one is Winter Soldier, aka Bucky Barnes. This is a character that's supposedly coming to the game, a leak hero that's supposed to be coming to the game, but in the comics and in the movies he did start off, you know, being controlled by the people that was controlling him. Who was controlling him? Them people out there, you know what I'm talking about, that was controlling him, and he was just a bad dude at first. So maybe if they want to introduce this character into the game, they can start off as a villain, I guess, or just the enemy that we have to fight. Obviously it won't stay like that, and then once he turns good we can play as him. So I thought if they do Winter Soldier like that, it would be a cool way to set up other villains that we can eventually play as, which leads me to the next couple of characters on my list. Next one being is Loki. Loki is like an easy shoe-in. He's actually already hinted in the game for that one Thor mission where he had the green footsteps going off into the distance, and we know that Loki is a fan favorite in the movies, the comics. Yeah, he's a manipulator, the Prince of Mischief, whatever his name is, God of Mischief. He's not a bad dude though, you know. He's like an anti-hero, anti-superhero type dude. He's with him at one point, he's against him at the other point. So I feel like him being a villain, he can always kind of be the villain in the game, but you can play as him. Maybe even if it's only on like certain missions you can play as him, I think he should still be a big enough character where he's not just a villain that we go fight on those little daily missions or whatever, you know. The next character I got is Rogue. Now this kind of ties into if X-Men is coming into the game, X-Men characters, but I know Rogue had some type of altercation with Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, which made her kind of turn good, because I think Rogue's power is that she can take power or something like that, and she got some of Captain Marvel's powers, like too much of it, and she kind of ended up being good in a way almost similar to Loki. So I said maybe as like a smaller character. I kind of doubt this will happen. This is more of a personal wish list for me if like X-Men characters come into the game, but I feel like Rogue would be a nice character to see, especially with her powers and moveset and the little story, since Captain Marvel is a character that's pretty much confirmed. She has posters in the game. Kamala talks about her all the time. So Captain Marvel is definitely coming to the game. So I feel like Rogue and maybe what's her name, Mystic. Wasn't Mystic like Rogue's adoptive like mom or something like that? Maybe she won't be a villain, but she can have some type of Easter egg in there. Next character is Nebula. Now Nebula is a character, once again similar to Rogue, is if the Guardians of the Galaxy is coming to the game. And I've been seeing your comments. I know that some of these characters might not. I really hope they do, and I feel like they will, even if it's like 3 years from now. But Guardians of the Galaxy, bring in Nebula, once again, kind of like Rogue, a smaller villain, but I feel like she would be a good villain to have that eventually turns playable. And similar, you know, similar movesets to, I guess, Gamora. I don't really know how she would play a part. Maybe if she's gonna be in the game, she maybe won't be playable, because I don't really know too much of other like her powers and movesets. I can display stuff in the background. I don't know, I didn't really do my research on here. Y'all can let me know down in the comments. But next up, we're gonna get into the characters that aren't gonna be playable. The first one, a part of that list, is Red Skull. Red Skull, he was first appeared in the Captain America comics and Captain America: The First Avenger. I feel like he would be a good character in the game. I know there's been certain comics, cartoons, whatever, where Red Skull is the villain for all the Avengers. So I feel like maybe if they did something where Red Skull came back, because of this, the game is set after a lot of these, I guess, villains and for these certain characters already happened. So Captain America probably already had his experience with Red Skull, so maybe he can come back in the game, have some villain sector where we get to fight Red Skull. I feel like that would be cool and interesting to see. Next up is Dr. Doom. Now Dr. Doom is another one of those villains that kind of ties in with if the Fantastic Four would have come into the game. I know Dr. Doom fought other people, the whole Avengers other than the Fantastic Four, but say if the Fantastic Four did get that, you know, the chance, or they were confirmed to come into the game, I feel like Dr. Doom would be the perfect villain, and it would just be cool to see. This list is mainly a prediction list. I'm trying to like predict and figure out the villains that would work best in this game, but most of it is a wish list, bro. I just want to see him. Next up, Ronin the Accuser. Just like Rogue, Ronin the Accuser had a little tie-in with Captain Marvel and the Guardians of the Galaxy, I believe. Not Guardians of the, yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy and Fantastic Four. I also believe Ronin the Accuser had some type of tie-in. And a lot of these villains will probably be hard to, well, it wouldn't be hard to beat. I'm gonna take that back, but I just feel like it would be cool to fight against, especially if they add different type of modes or a whole story for the villain, maybe, instead of just you fight some robots and you get to the last stage where you fighting this villain. I feel like it should maybe be a whole what do they call it, story, like a story chain mission. I think that's what they call them, chain missions, where it's all about that villain working up to fighting them and stuff like that. I feel like that would be cool. Next up, we got this Ultron. Ultron is one of the big bads that we should see in this game, most definitely. I feel like he's a shoe-in. He's one of the most known Marvel villains, Ultron. I feel like his story, if they were to like add actual stories for the villains, would be heat. Especially if they took it how they did in the MCU version. I'm pretty sure they did in the comments. I'm not too sure. Y'all can let me know. As far as him creating all these other Ultron robots things or whatever. I know, kind of tired of fighting robots, but I feel like it would be a tad bit different. And I was also thinking for some modes. I think some other people said this before, but like modes where it's like flight modes or whatever, like for Iron Man or Thor. You know, when you in the sky fighting robots, similar to that one Iron Man mission. But that's just a thought. Next up, Thanos. This is an obvious villain that I think everybody wants to see eventually in this game. Thanos, the big homie. There's no really question or talking about that or whatever. We all want to see Thanos in the game, but with the current state of this game, we never know. But if this game can pick itself up and get on a steady, good track, Thanos is the character I definitely want to see. I actually had a thought a while ago. I kind of take it back, but if they add Thanos and they do the whole Infinity Stone type of thing, where it ends up going to the actual snap, I don't think they would. I mean, it would be nice. It's like a whole expansion DLC, like an expansion campaign DLC. We're talking about like 20-some hours in. That would be heat. Just, you know, a wish of mine or whatever. I feel like that would be heat. And characters actually die. Like, obviously we'll still be able to play as them, but I feel like it could add new things. Like, say if Iron Man, I'm kind of going off the movies. I know the game is kind of based off the comics, but just say if Iron Man were to die in the game, maybe they could add in new things like the hologram Iron Man suits. I've been seeing people make those cosmetics on Twitter. People on Reddit and stuff been making edits of the suits they want in the game, and I saw one with Iron Man with the hologram, you know, after he died. So I was like, ooh, maybe if they tied in that where he actually died and you unlock that skin from him dying, but you can still play as any Iron Man you want, because, you know, it's a game. I don't think that would kill off a character and you can't play him at all anymore. But that's just a thought. Next up is Magneto. Once again, another character that will tie in with the X-Men. I just really feel like X-Men will be in the game regardless, you know, sooner than later. But you never know, man. I feel, and also with the whole mutant things, the Magneto, if Scarlet Witch can come into the game, I know mutants and Scarlet Witch, they had their little tie-in or whatever. So hopefully this game can take that route where it does connect with other things. Next up, Galactus. Galactus is one of the biggest villains, and I think of all the Marvel villains, I'm pretty sure. I mean, literally and figuratively. I don't know how they would do him in the game. I know we fought giant people before, like the Kree Man, when Kamala got real big in the campaign, so I know it's possible, but Oh man, I think everybody wants to see Galactus in the game. I'm pretty sure he could be the big bad. Maybe he could be like, if they add Thanos, Galactus would come after Thanos, because I feel like, you know, he's the bigger of the bad bunch. A lot of these villains could be fought in like space too. I think would be cool, because space should be coming, especially if characters like Captain Marvel. We should definitely have different space things where we flying or something like that. Another thing about maps, if it goes back to Loki, as far as Loki coming into the game, that could also open Asgard, because Thor has been in the game since day one. There's no Asgard reason, so I feel like if they add Loki as a villain, that could expand more to Asgard and different regions and things like that. All right, well, after Galactus, I have some characters, 3 characters that could, all 3 of them could work, but it's for Spider-Man. Now, as you can see through my list, I'm trying to put villains that kind of tie in with the heroes, like the list that I made, or the character list that was leaked. I tried to match them with the corresponding villain. So we know we're getting Spider-Man. So for the villains I chose for him, either Dr. Octavius, Green Goblin, or Venom. I feel like any of them will work. It would be cool if you could get all of them at one point at a time, or, you know, a certain time, not at the same time, obviously. I don't think that would really be good for adding villains, you know. So I feel like it should be spaced out if we do get all 3 of these, but I feel like any of them would be heat. They're perfect for the game. Next up, I got Ghost, or Darren Cross, aka the Yellow Jacket. This ties in once again with Ant-Man and the Wasp. Well, Ant-Man, I believe. I don't know if the Wasp, yeah, the Wasp, I think, and Ant-Man fought Ghost. I feel like Ghost or Yellow Jacket will be heat in the game, maybe both. Just separate them, don't have them come into the game at the same time. But those characters would be heat, especially Ghost with her little moveset shifting around and all that. I feel like that would be cool to see in the game and trying to fight. Next up, we got Dormammu, or Dormammu, yeah, Dormammu. He's kind of matched up with Doctor Strange. He could be maybe a raid. Now, I don't know too much about him in the comics, but the Doctor Strange movie, you saw how big his face was up there in the space. Was that even space? That was like a time, you know what I'm saying? Like he was in the midst of it, you know what I'm saying? When he was saying he tried to bargain with him, I feel like they could throw that in there, not the whole bargain thing, but that area maybe as a raid. I don't know, something just like a big boss villain thing. It's so many different ways you could tie him in, bro. I wrote a script for this video, but it's getting all over the place. If y'all get my drift, y'all get my drift. These are characters that we want to see. Next up, Crossbones. Now we got Taskmaster in the game. I feel like Taskmaster and Crossbones are very, very similar, but he could be another one of the minor villains that can be like not something we can do as a whole boss or villain sector, just a villain we can do in like a certain mission maybe. I feel like we should add him in there, and maybe it'll be cool. I'm not sure. Y'all can let me know. Let me know some other villains you might want to see. There's a lot of them, but I tried to figure, like I said, villains that could match with the heroes we're gonna get in, and just some fan favorites. Now another thing, the last thing to wrap this up, I actually didn't think this video was gonna be this long. I know I'm gonna cut some stuff out, but it's not really villains, but a civil war mode. I know somebody mentioned this before, but to be able to fight each other like as a little story thing, I think that would just be heat, you know what I'm saying? A lot of my predictions and wish lists aren't coming from the movies, because I did grow up watching the movies. I had my fair share of my dibble dabble in certain comics or whatever, but I get my info from the movies, and I know the movies get their stuff in the comics, so I know it's pretty much the same. And Civil War did happen in the comics. It was just a whole lot more characters, but I feel like that would just be heat in the game, or a mode like a 1v1 mode, or just something where we can, maybe honestly not a mode, but just a story part where we can fight each other, and it adds the whole Civil War thing. And a lot of people would probably want to see that and, you know, switch it up as far as the enemy types that we're fighting. But I think I'm gonna wrap this video up here, man. This is probably the last prediction wish list I'm gonna do. It's obviously not too many I can do. It's the heroes we want and the villains we want. I was thinking about making the MCU skins, maybe some regions, but I think we all want MCU skins, and we know the skins we want. I don't think I have to make a video of that. If y'all want to see it though, y'all can let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know some of the other villains you guys want to see. If you agree with my list, I know it's kind of all over the place, but I think it's solid. The current state of this game is still like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna ride with this game until the wheels fall off, bro. I'm with it. I support it, even if it's bad. Communication is killing this game softly, hardly at this point. I mean, they don't talk. Last dev stream, they literally started off saying we not saying nothing about Hawkeye. I mean, I guess I understand if they can't say certain things, but they can at least say this is what I would have said if I was Phil or Andy or the new girl. I would have said, hey, listen, don't get your hopes up. but maybe, possibly, we could see Hawkeye late January, maybe sometime in February. Don't get your hopes up. That's just an estimated date. Now let's move on into the regular stream. I would have said something like that, and I would have felt happy as a fan, or a little, a sense of, I don't know, relief maybe. Like, bro, okay, we know they're working on them. This is the time zone. It's not official. Don't get your hopes up, but this is possibly when we can see them. I would have been perfectly okay with the answer, but they just straight up said we're not talking about them. But I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm gonna support this game until the end. But yeah, if you enjoyed any part of this video, man, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell so you know when I'm posting. Share this video, share this content, share this channel, all that, and I will see y'all in the next one. It's your boy Kai SMG. Peace.